Okay, you're doing something wrong. Oh, these mistakes that husbands make in marriage, let's figure this out. Let's solve the problems now. Okay, I'm a husband and I have made a lot of mistakes. And if you're a husband, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't take much to make a mistake. Okay, why do we make so many mistakes? Like, what is going on? The topic here is, mistakes husbands make in marriage, right? That's what we're talking about, these mistakes we make. So, okay, where do we make our biggest glitch? Well, first big mistake is we treat our wives like they're guys. It's such a bad mistake. You can't talk to a woman like she's a man. It just doesn't work. Now, you're gonna mess up. So what happens is when we just talk like a guy and we talk to our wives like we normally would talk, what happens is over a period of days, the conflict that we're creating in that particular language builds up, and then there's a blow up. Just know that blow ups happen because there's a build up. So there's a build up and then there's a blow up. And so how do we not talk to our wives like they're guys? So guys usually talk about, steps, and guys usually talk about themselves, and guys usually talk in really short sentences. Your wife, and this is, I know there's different personalities, but we're just gonna keep this simple. Your wife wants more conversation, and your wife wants to know about other people and how they think and how they feel. And us as guys, we don't pay attention to that. It's like, okay, I don't know how they think and feel, but that's what they want to know. So if we could, here's the simple part. If we could, as guys, as husbands, if we could speak in relationship language, that's what your wife speaks. It's called relationship language. Everything to her is a relationship. Everything connects, everybody's connected, everybody's all in one big family, and it's always about relationships. We as guys, we talk about projects, we talk about activities, but your wife is all about relationships. So what you want to do, and now I'm not going to lose myself as a man because I'm going to adopt the way that my wife speaks, but I want to have a happy marriage, and I want to have a happy experience and do well each day and have less blow-ups. I don't want to have blow-ups. I used to live a life of blow-ups, and I'm not going to do that anymore because I've learned if you're going to go to another country, you don't expect them to speak your language. You need to learn the language. So your wife is from a different country. She speaks a different language. She speaks the language of relationships. So that means that she's always thinking about the kids. She's thinking about the neighbors. She's thinking about the in-laws. She's thinking about people from yesterday, last week. She's always thinking about people. And she's always thinking about you and the relationship between the two of you. And so listen closely to her. If you ever want to have a better relationship with somebody, you listen to their language and you use some of their terms and the way in which they speak. So if I want to have a better marriage, I'm going to speak to my wife in her language. All I'm doing is taking what I know and I'm going to translate it into her language. Just like if I went to Italy or if I went to Germany, I would want to translate what I was going to say into their language so that they can understand me. And when communication is more easily understood, well, then the relationship is better. So you probably are causing a lot of mistakes because you're not adjusting your language at all. You're not forming and shaping it to her world. Now, it doesn't mean that she's winning. It doesn't mean that she's better. It just doesn't mean that. It means you're actually stepping up the game of being wiser, smarter, more adaptable because you care so much about her, you're willing to learn her language. So it only takes about a day or 2 days of really listening to her to hear what it is you need to change. Now, so that's one part, the language that you speak. Now, because she's so relationship driven in her language, what that also means is that any small, really small acts of service you do for her, to her feels like they're 100 times as big, just 100 times as big. For example, the other day I was in the bedroom and there was something of Kim's on the floor and I picked it up and I went and I put it away. You would have thought I had just bought her a Lamborghini. You would have thought I just bought her a mansion. You would have thought that I just surprised her with a trip around the world. Because when she found out that I picked something up of hers and I put it away, she comes to me and she goes, "You put my shoes away?" And I said, "Yeah, they were sitting right there. I just put them away for you." She's like, "Wow, you put my shoes away." Now, a guy will belittle that and go, "Oh, it's no big deal." But no. To a relationship speaking woman, what happens is that's a big deal because that showed an act of caring, of loving and appreciation. I mean, there's like probably 15 to 20 different terms that got attached to that moment. Let her have that moment. Let her be happy for that moment. Don't belittle it. Don't downsize it. Just let it just be. But anything you can do for her, the smallest things tend to be the best, is all these little small things. You know, like she's sitting at the kitchen table and she's like, "I wish I had some ketchup," or "I wish I had some salt." You jump up and go grab it. You will see her like, "What's going on?" Like you're doing something for her? Because that's a movement of I care, and that's relationship language. Every act of service you do means you care. And caring is involved in relationships, and that means you're now the coolest husband ever. Now, sometimes husbands think, well, I got to do something big. I got to spend $200 on flowers and take her out to a $300 dinner and rent a limousine. Those are fun, and she'll go, "Okay, this is pretty fun." But I tell you what, I've learned how to save money and really have cool experiences by just doing the little things in front of her. Little things in the moment in front of her. Because sometimes when you do things and they didn't see you do it, it doesn't have as much impact. But when she says, "Hey, is there any salt on the table?" You get up and go get it. And if she says, "Hey, do you know where the keys are?" You're like, "Oh, hold on, I'll get them for you." All those little acts really help, because number one mistake you make is not speaking the right language with her. Number two is thinking big things are going to be big to her. Nope, she's the other way around. Small things are big. That's just, guys think big is big, small is small. But she thinks small is gigantic because it's focused in on service to her. That's always beautiful in that part. Okay, third part of a mistake that you probably are making is that when you don't care, it tells her you don't care about her. So when she says, "Hey, where would you like to go to dinner?" and you're trying to be polite in saying, "Oh, I don't care." Remember, everything that comes out of your mouth, she interprets as it's about relationships. So when it's only her and it's only you in the vehicle and you say, "I don't care where we eat," she literally hears through her filter, "I don't care about you." And I know we just said that we don't care about where we eat, but her asking you if you want to go to dinner is an invitation to engage in where should we eat conversation. Because she just wants to talk and engage in conversation with you. But when you say, "Oh, I don't care," she will take it as you pushed her to the side, you gave her all the responsibility, and she has to do everything now, and now you're just this worthless husband. I know! It's like, wait a minute, this is so different. This is so different. Okay, so when she says, "Where do you want to go eat?" you suggest something. Now, we know as guys, our suggestions don't count as much. So I play the game. She says, where would you like to go eat? And I said, hey, let's go here. And then my wife will say, that's a good idea, but what about this area? And she will just take what I've given and then she'll add to it and create something else, which I know that's going to happen. But I engage in the conversation because it has to do with the relationship between her and I, and it just keeps it all good. And that's just the way she speaks. If I listen to her talk to another woman, she'll ask the woman, where do you want to go to lunch? And she goes, well, hey, let's go get a sandwich. And then she'll say, well, what about a taco? And the other person will say, you know what about a juice? And then they'll go, I don't know, how about we just go out for steak? And it's just this ongoing conversation that somewhere in the middle they finally come to a conclusion. She wants to engage in a dialogue. We as men are more monologue. She is dialogue, meaning back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So be in the place of you're ready for dialogue. Last one here, and I got to go. Just to give you a sample, just to help you out today, just to help you out. So another mistake is when she says, are you thirsty? Do you know what that means? When she asks you if you're hungry, you're thirsty, or if you're cold, it's not a literal question. That's not what she's asking. If she's sitting there shivering and she goes, are you cold? What she's wanting you to do is she's wanting you to comment about the temperature. She's not wanting to really know if you're cold or not. She, again, wants to engage in a conversation with you. And when you say, no, and she's going to look at you while she's going to be like, you don't love me? I know it seems weird, but remember, everything she talks about has to do with relationship. And when she brings you into the conversation and you don't get into a dialogue with her, now she feels like you don't care. You don't love her. And this is where men make the mistake. Women are about relationships. So if she says, are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Or are you cold? Or are you too hot? What she's saying is, talk to me. Tell me how you are. Because then I'm going to tell you how I am. And then you tell me how you are. And then we're going to decide we're going to do something. So when Kim says, are you thirsty? Then my response then would be, I'm not sure right now, but I could be, but I haven't thought about that. Well, how are you? And she'll go, oh, wow, I'm really thirsty. Really, what would you drink right now if you had something to drink? She goes, how about an orange juice? Would you like that orange juice right now? No, I was just thinking about orange juice. So it's just this conversation. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful because it has to do with relationships and dialogue. And as a man, I've had to learn the world of relationship talking and dialogue. Not just monologue, not just short answers. And as I mentor couples and I hear what the problem is, I hear the miscommunication that she doesn't understand him and his language, and he doesn't understand her and her language. And because of the language difference and because of the monologue and dialogue experience, it becomes a communication issue. Now, I could be doing a video about mistakes that wives make, but I'm not a wife. So that's why I'm not bringing her into this right now. It's only about us guys. But women could, your wife could learn your language and you learn hers, and you will find you'll communicate so much better. But we're only talking about one side of it right now. One side. So dialogue and relationship. And if you don't know what that looks like, just listen closely to how she talks, what she talks about, how her conversations go with other people, with you, with the kids, with her friends. Just watch and listen. It's like learning Spanish, German, French, or Italian language, and any other language. You're listening to learn how to speak the language. And when you know the language, there's better communication and the relationship's going to be better. That, what you just learned, super important. Game changer. Give yourself the next day or two, watch your wife closely, you'll figure it out, you'll do great. But hey, if you're ready to really take your marriage up to the next level, I think what you ought to do is check out my live event called Royalty and Romance. My wife and I teach the class, and it's about marriage. It's about all the glitches that happen, the problems that happen, why they happen, and what you do to solve them. And it's called Royalty and Romance. And so I think it's time for a little bit more royalty in your life, a little bit more romance. Click the link below, check it out. It's held right here in Salt Lake City. Hope you're ready for the next level, and I look forward to seeing you at the class. You're gonna love it. And also, subscribe. Click the button so that you don't miss any of these great training videos, but definitely click the link below and check out this class we have. We've been teaching it for years. It has helped so many couples get on the same page.